And welcome back to A Neighbor's Choice Radio. I'm your host, David Gornosky, and you are listening, as I said earlier, to the most electrifying show in media. 407-916-5400 is the number to call if you'd like to be a part of it. And as I mentioned to you, I am about getting things done. I don't want to just talk about problems all day. I want to actually provide solutions, folks, because if I was telling you at the beginning, I said we cannot rely on Washington to solve our problems. We cannot rely on sacred cows and groupthink that we've been stuck in for decades sometimes in the way we think about things. And that includes even science. And so one of the things I'll be doing regularly on A Neighbor's Choice, we will look at politics, we'll look at economics, we'll look at the problems that the government is providing for us, but we're not going to stay stuck there, folks. We're not going to stay there, sitting there saying, oh, which team will save us? Who will tell us how to do clean energy? Who will tell us what science should be funded? No. We're done with those old days. This show, A Neighbor's Choice, is about providing real solutions. So you can think, you can be inspired to rethink sacred cows of knowledge. And actually, if you have talents, we want to hear from you. So if you want to email me, david@aneighborschoice.com, david@aneighborschoice.com, if you have something you'd like to contribute, if you have a great idea that can change society. And one of the things that I am excited to do is we're going to be talking about science a lot, because I think there's a problem with science. And one of the problems I have with it is that when you rely on government to solve all of the problems for us, you'll never be able to have the courage to rethink established paradigms. And so you'll see a regular guest here. He's a good friend of mine. His name is Dr. Wei-Ping Yu, and he's a theoretical physicist, folks. Now, I tell people, the problems we have, they're very simple to solve. You don't need a rocket scientist, but just in case, we have Dr. Yu in the house today. Dr. Yu.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me. This is a great show. Congratulations. Okay, my name is Wei-Ping Yu. I work at the Kennedy Space Center as a NASA physicist by training.
So he's working, folks, on rockets. So we've got a rocket scientist in the house. And I consider him my science guru. He's my chief science advisor on all things A Neighbor's Choice. And so he's willing to question paradigms going back even hundreds of years sometimes about what's accepted in the world of physics. And so, Dr. Yu, I just wanted to ask you, do you think we have a problem with physics, and what's going on in physics? It seems like we used to have a day where we would solve and create new technology. We had cars, we went to the moon, and now we're stuck on something. We're not getting big changes in technology. What's going on?
This is a big question among physics community. We do have problems, and many, especially in theoretical physicists, are very frustrated with the current status quo framework. One of my research, since I have an engineering physics PhD degree, my research is study theoretical and applied physics. And regarding you mentioned about the group thinking,
right?
There is one, I believe, very important, a group thinking, which actually have a lot of problems. It's about electricity. Sounds like everybody should know what electricity is, right?
Right.
It never makes sense when I was even in high school. We studied electricity, use a water analogy. So they say, okay, we have an electro pressure. So similar like a water pressure goes through the pipe. So electric current flows through pipe. I figured that it never make any sense to me. And then once I get to college, and I started questioning, is that really true? Electricity, a flow of electron. And since I'm doing many NASA education outreach program, so I asked so many electrical engineering professors and PhDs. I said, does that make sense to you? electricity is a flow of particles. So book definition is electricity is a flow of charge. So I asked them, so what is a charge? How do charge flow? So they said, oh, electricity has to be a flow of electrons. So I said, how electron can flow at 70% of speed of light? Does that make any sense to you? You know, my answer is everybody feels like it does not make sense.
Mm-hmm. So what is your definition of electricity? What did you discover about electricity by rethinking groupthink? What is your definition of electricity? What is it?
Electricity is actually not flow of particles. What I discovered, that's, you know, personally, is no particle flowing inside a solid conducting material.
Wow.
It's actually it's vibration. It's a wave motion.
Just like we're doing right now live on radio, we are vibrating, right? This frequency of thought, our feelings, and it's electrifying the airwaves all over Orlando area. Dr. Yu, you have told me there are some secrets to technology we're going to uncover. You're going to have to find out, folks, what those are next week on A Neighbor's Choice Radio. I'm your host, David Gronowski. We'll see you next week, Thursday at 8 o'clock.